So,
Here we
let's show
are.
everybody how we apply it. Yeah, start us off, Nadine.
Yeah, this is Nadine O, and I'm here on the Let's Paint and Draw Along workshop. It's an open workshop, and I'm here with DonStephens and a few of our
I'm
friends.
sorry, buddy. Don't got my camera. Sorry about that, Nadine.
Oh, do we have to do that again? All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Nadine O, and it is time
I
to
am Don.
And over here, or over there, is DonStephens, and below are a few of our friends. Listen, if you are looking at this right now, all you have to do is go into the content section. There are links to join us on Zoom. When you join us on Zoom, it's more interactive. You can ask Don questions instantly and work along with us. It's not about being critical of our work. It's about growing, okay? It's about this organic field that we have, not sterile. So we are here. Go on and click the link to join us on Zoom. We have enough windows. I think it's 100 people could join us, and we have enough room for you. Now, in terms of today, Don is going to tell you what to gather, but most importantly, it's all about creating with what you have. So Don, take it away. We're getting our stuff together. I got my paper. I'm working on paper. Don,
you ain't going nowhere, Nadine. You still gonna be here. So I'm still gonna be hollering at you. You know the deal how we do over here.
That's right. And you got to keep creating. And remember,
gotta keep creating. Everything's in flux. We use repetition. Once again, if you drop out, just please come right back in.
We'll be
here working it out.
Yep.
And jump right back.
And we
play with everything around here.
We play with everything around here. And listen, if for some reason you're unable to go live with us, meaning in this private group in Zoom, I want you in the content section in Facebook, in our Facebook group, I want you to say hi. So at least we know that you were here, and so that we can reach out to you and see how we can make it easier for you to participate virtually like this. All right, Don, take it away.
Well, not really take it away. Let's just start walking forward. You know what I mean? So then we can walk forward by saying, look, everybody, you can start using you can use a ballpoint pen to start this off, or you can use your Sharpies if you want to. Or you can use your HB or your ebony drawing pencil to start this drawing off, or to start this idea off that we're going to do today. You can also paint and use a smaller round brush, like how I talked about before. Everybody that has joined us before, my regulars understand this. You can draw with your brush. So all you would have to do is you can either use black paint, or you can mix something that's called Payne's gray or blue gray, which is taking black, white, and phthalo blue, or whichever blue you have, and adding it to that mixture and making a nice, cool blue Payne's type of gray. It won't have a green in it, but it'll look pretty good to draw with. Okay, everyone? So these are the things that you can do. All right? Later on, we're going to talk about little tidbits and stuff like that. Me, myself, y'all know the deal. I start on the board so that we can get the idea to going. And I zoom in on the board so we can get a real nice close view, you see? So we don't worry about necessarily the whole board per se. I like chopping it up and moving the camera around and zooming the lens in and stuff like this so we can get real close. So just in case if you don't see certain things, let me know what we're doing. So you can say, hey, Don, I can't see that. And I go, oh, okay, hold on. Let me get this other stuff together. Like right now, like how I tell you guys to keep all this stuff together, right? God has put his eraser markers on the other side of the room. So I'm going to run to the other side of the room. Hey, Nadine, tell them about some more stuff so I can go over there and get my markers.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so listen, one of the cool things that we're doing to inspire people all around the world, all around us, is with our Keep Creating t-shirt. And we do have a store And if you're interested, I'll put the link in the show contents or the show notes so that you can get one of these. We try to keep the cost kind of low so that it's as affordable as can be. I love it. It's a conversation starter, definitely, because it is really all about creating, right?
There
Right,
it
Don?
is. That's what you're about to do. Thank you, Nadine. So listen, look, everybody. This box that I'm drawing, you know you don't draw this box if you know me. This box represents your page or your drawing apparatus at any size that you have. So it can be 9 by 12. Most of us is working 9 by 12 small. Some of us may be working 11 by 14 and so on and so forth. Whatever size format page you got, you always want to just be aware of the edge of the page and then find center of that page. You don't have to use a ruler. Most people want to go for perfection. Perfection is a lie over here. So we keep moving and moving with the action of the hand. And you find center of any space that you're in, whether it be a wall, whatever the case may be. Once you find that center point, now it's guesstimated. I like the guesstimated center. It makes it fun, you see? So then now we got our center together. You can just put a dot there if you want, with your paintbrush if you want, or with your pencil and things like this. Here we go, everybody. This is the start of the idea. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do like this random movement. It's almost like being like an Etch-a-Sketch, right? So what you're gonna do is we're gonna start off with hard edge, what we call hard edge. And you don't have to do the same thing I'm doing. Remember that, everybody. Perfection is a lie, and all of that. We want to do our hard edge painting. So that means we're going to use angles, all types of angles, but they're not going to be curved at first. So then look, here we go. Watch. I'm just going to start. You can start at any point. This is a strategy just to get you started so you can remember if you want to do another piece on your own or do some other things, you have a strategy to get your piece started in an existential abstract way. Let's go. I'm going to start from the upper left-hand corner. So you can start by making angles, just like an Etch-a-Sketch. Put them in there any which way you want to. Fill in the space how you feel, Now, when you hit the bottom, let it overlap. Put some other angles in there. What you're trying to do is you're trying to create spaces that you can have for things to be filled in with. You see what we did there on the board?
Yes.
All right, when you got a certain one there, then you can come back into a curve. So I'm going to do the curve with a different mark or a different line, color line, so you can understand how we adding stuff to the surface, adding it on, meaning adding up things on the surface, accumulation. So then look, I'm just going to use a curve. Come back, use a curve. Just wherever I want it, reverse it, use a curve. Cut into the spaces. Come back, do it again someplace else. Use a curve. You should be moving just as fast as me if you want. You can have a couple of pieces of paper out. As you can see, if you look down here, I'm going to move the camera down for a second. So you can see I have two surfaces ready, or you can have your pad ready, you see, to do multiples. You don't have to just do one. With this idea, it's all about moving, how would you say, in a quick pace, so you're not thinking, but so much. Think about it, using two types of lines to use accumulation on the surface. See? So if you got two pieces of paper, you can do another one. You see, I got that one going just to show you. I'm going to erase this one out and we can do another one. Just to show you how fast lines can go. Also, what you can do, you can have a smaller piece of paper, right, and do what they call thumbnails first before you put your idea down on the page. So for me, being on the eraser board, I love them. It's like being on your own Etch-a-Sketch to me. It's like, there's so many ways you can do these things. So look, I'll start another one. I'll start from the left side. Maybe I'll start with smaller movements. Just like an Etch-a-Sketch would be, just smaller movement. Make it overlap itself if you want to, however you feel it. Be very impulsive, intuitive, as they say. Let it, like a spark, just let it go. Angles, no curves just yet. Our first movement always going to be the angle movement. You see? Then you come to a point where you may finish the movement at the bottom. After you get it going, this could be another one as far as the thumbnail idea is concerned. You come back, the curve for another one, the opposite way, on the other side. See? Let it overlap. Don't worry about where it's going. Perfection is a lie. You have to go with what you feel now with what the directive or the target task is. The target task is to use angles and curves and accumulate them to make spaces that we can have like a coloring book for filling in. You see? So you can come back over top. Let's say we add another curve idea in there where we make it more like a serpentine type of move. You see? So you can add two types of curves. So we got, what type of lines we using, everybody? We got curve lines, serpentine lines that you can use. Just the curve, like how we did, like concave and convex, or P, or U and an upside down U, if you want to call it. It's still a curved motion. So you got one movement where you can use just the serpentine curvilinear line over top. You have another movement where you can use the curved line that's like a C or a U movement. If you want to dance it up and use both and make it like an M movement or an N movement, like in cursive. You see the possibilities is there. But what you want to understand is for this one here, what we're doing in the session, we're accumulating movements on the page, everybody. So you see how I did the first one. Now I'm doing another one just to show what? How many different options you got right now. You don't just have one or two options. You're not trying to definitely go someplace. We're trying to have an open session where we have a journey and everybody's on this journey. We're using angular lines. So you can use them separate if you want. You see, like how I'm doing here on the side margin. If you can see it, everybody. Can you see that? No?
Yes.
Oh, yes? Oh, okay, cool. All right. Because you know, you guys, if I'm not on the laptop, I can't see the screen until I walk over to the device. So that's why I'll ask everybody loudly, do you see that? And if I don't get a response, then I get scared. All right, so with that being said, thanks you guys. The next one is, look, we can do what? The zigzag line that I talked about, but it's all angular. You see? Or you can break it down and make it boxes then. That's another movement. But it all has to be an angle. So whatever's happening in the curvilinear world, it can happen in the angular world. It's just changing the thought in the movement and just accumulating. You can do another one. Come on, let's go. I know some of you just have one or two pages going. I'll suggest taking a smaller page, taking another page and doing smaller cubes on your page that will represent another page where you can just do what we call thumbnails.
Okay.
It would be good for you, Nadine, because you like to work in your notebook first. A lot of times you like to take notations.
Yes.
So make them small boxes like this, everybody. Now I show that. This is your page. All you want to do is small pages like this, small little boxes. And in the illustration world and the graphic design world, book advertising, all this stuff, I gotta let you know where it is. These will be called thumbnails. You see? While I'm giving this, you're working, everybody. So that's the joy and the fun of this. So if you take a page, now what you can do is you can apply these ideas in several of them and see which ones look interesting to you. Like say, for instance, okay, I'll just go into each one and just use the movements. Just to show you the idea. Everything that has to be an angle, it can overlap. I can go right into the next one. Change the movements. If I started off on the left side on one, I could start off on the right side on another one. The whole key is you want to leave enough space to whereas you're doing what? Making your own coloring book. Random angular movements. You see how everything's an angle in every one of those boxes. Then I would come back and do the same thing with the curve, like how we talked about. Curve it, just see if you can see something that looks interesting, and then you would use that box. Now, what would interest be? It would be based upon you having a reaction to what you just did. You see, you're overlapping these linear lines together. That's what they're called, linear lines. You want to take it further. You can see their contour lines. You see, they're vortexes. This is where all these thoughts come from, but it's from the randomness of moving. You see how each one is its own idea?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you would utilize thumbnails for. You can do a whole page of them before you actually do the piece that you're going to do. Just to get yourself warmed up. You can use that idea to warm up. You also can use that idea just to let the fart come out. You may not know what to think about. See, I compare things to bodily movements and in the kitchen. So how I'm trying to get you to do this is like how when you have gas. When you have gas, you don't hold it, do you? Well, some of us try to, but it starts to hurt after a while. So it just comes and goes as it pleases, right? In these type of pieces, I believe in the beginning, when you're trying to formulate your own idea of what this idea is, should be as random and fast and loose and free as possible, like flatulence, like a fart.
Or a burp.
Nobody's laughing with me, so I gotta laugh at my own jokes.
You're the funniest, Don.
Some of you out there might think it's corny, but that's okay. That's what this dirty is all about. You can laugh at me being corny. It's okay, as long as you participate, right, everybody? So
Right.
there you go. So any questions about that thumbnail idea?
No.
Nope.
Not really, right?
No.
No questions?
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, we good then. Okay.
Yeah.
So then let me move that away from here, okay? And let me go down and do some movements so we can have an understanding and an idea. I'm going to do two at one time with us today so that we can have that understanding of what it is I just spoke of by having that randomness and what that can do. So let me move the camera over, slide this down to our how would you say, where our items are. Okay, everybody. Don't worry, this camera angle and everything will start to get better with time. I know how it does. Right now, I like the fun of just playing with my camera with you guys. Seems like I'm trying to find something. Okay, let's look at it, everybody. I'm going to take my round brush and I'm going to do one with that idea of just painting with the brush. But I'll start a piece. I'll start a piece in this way. So let me move my paper towels. So you should have your paper towels, everybody. Possibly have a hairdryer out. For some of you that just joined us, use the hairdryer to speed up the process. So if you have a hairdryer, an old Sasson one, any type of hairdryer, a hand fan, one of those old one of those battery-powered fans that you hold in your hand, you can use that. Things that help to dry the surface fast. Okay. So now we're going to go with that basic idea. I'm going to show that Payne's gray idea. So then when I'm setting up my palette, everybody, even though I may not have all my colors out just yet, I try to stay on the parameters, on the edge. So if you stay on the edge, what happens is, in any palette, when you stay on the edge, you still got the middle of the mix. So, you know, I'm not going to talk about how I lost my other palette, but yes, if you don't watch where you place your glass palettes that I suggested, you could have a disaster, whereas they'll fall and break. So I had a big booty issue, whereas I was walking past and I went to go sit down and didn't pay attention to where all my body was, sat on my palette and it broke, everybody. But don't worry, I have another one here that I'm using. So that's what you see, that black paint back there. We also talk about the different types of paint. You can use acrylic paint. You can use the liquid stuff. I prefer using the thick to the liquid. You see, so I use different brands, like this white that I'm about to use, that I'm about to open up, is golden. The black that I just put down there is brick acrylic. So it depends upon what the end result is, but don't get fearful about the idea of professional paint and student paint. Look at paint as paint. When you see student grade, it just means that what? It doesn't have the same material as the professional grade paints would have. So that means that if you have a professional, supposed professional grade, it's going to have more pigment than the student grade. So that white I have right there, oh, we got somebody else about to join us. You know, there we go. And don't worry, you know, nobody has to be a professional or student. There is no skill-based level here. And let's paint and draw when we're doing this. When we're doing this together, we're all at the same level trying to have an experience. and taking the idea and moving forward. Ain't that right, Nadine?
Yep, absolutely.
There it is. All right, so I have my white and my black up there. I have titanium white and I got an ivory/Mars black. All right, so you can have either ivory or Mars black, or you can have the one where they have half and half of that.
Hey Don.
Yes.
Are you showing us the paint?
Yes. Well, I'm telling you to paint because if I'm just going to show you the container, we don't have no sponsorship.
Gotcha. Got it.
You see? So I'm going to talk about the paints as we putting it down. The blue that we're using, I'm using phthalo blue.
Okay.
You see? I'll put that close to the black with the dark. So you want to manage the palette properly too. You want to have space where you can have space to pull paint down, to mix it. They call that directly. So then let's get that paint grade that I was talking about, everybody. You always want to wet your brush first. Anything you use it, so you hear me wetting my brush. I got 2 vessels.
Right.
All right, now you want to start with the lightest impression always. So I'll start with the white. I take a scoop of white, bring it to the middle. You see? At this point, what you could do is rinse your brush off. Sometimes if I'm working, I don't do that. A lot of artists don't do that all the time. They'll just, touch the other, pile of paint. That's up to you, but you want to have good palette management. So I rinse the brush off to get all the extra color out. Put a touch of blue there. And now I'm just going to go into the black and take a touch of black and put it there. Now we're just going to mix all of that together. This is the color that you're making so that when you want to use it, use your brush to paint. You could just use straight black. Some of you probably already did that. That's okay, as long as you have it together. See that blue gray that I made right there? Put a little bit more black in there. I'm going to make this one a little darker. You see how that gray and that blue is congealing together? You can't see the white. That's what you want to do. You want to have a thorough mixture, everybody. Try to keep everything in the middle. Turn your brush on both sides when you're mixing. You see, add a touch of water to keep the mixture loose. When you're doing a drawing, you want the consistency of the paint to be loose, like the end of a milkshake loose. When it's in the corner, you're trying to slurp out that good stuff. Yeah, you want it to be that type of consistency so you can draw with. Okay, so then let me just start one. So I'm gonna start with the angular idea. You see how freely I'm just moving, just to start the idea. It's depending upon you, what you want. Now I started that one. All right, with the other one, another good idea with your palette too as well is, does everybody have a spritz bottle possible?
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that point, Josh. You know the deal. So what you can do is, definitely, homie. What you can do is when you take your spritz bottle, everybody, right? What you want to do is you want to slightly spritz your palette. You don't want to saturate it with paint. You just want to spritz it just a little bit. What that's going to do is it's going to keep the paint wet and moist so it doesn't dry out, so you don't lose a lot of paint, okay? And it makes it easier to keep mixing when your paints are kind of moist on top. It doesn't coagulate like a scab, you see? So keep your spray bottle close. Keep it all together where your water vessels are, like how I'm going over there. See? Let's see. Can you see that, everybody? Hold on.
Yeah.
You see that? So the water bottle, I have the watercolors and stuff over there from other sessions and things, but we're dealing with acrylic paint. So let's come back on over here and stay where we at. Let's not get distracted, right? All right. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the Sharpie and start another one on the other side so you can see how it looks when you're working with a Sharpie. And you can start the drawing with the Sharpie if you want to. So I'm gonna start with an angular drawing. Notice how I'm using the small fine tip Sharpie. And see how I just randomly just put it in there?
Yeah.
You see, I don't want that space empty, so now I just put another one smaller in that space based upon the movements that I started. You see, it's totally impulsive. It's totally random. You can get to a point where you can say there's exacts in these types of pieces, but you got to get to that point. So I'm all about getting you going to get to that point. But let's explore and have the journey together. Okay, what's the next movement that we talked about? That's serpentine. So on this one, I'm going to use the serpentine from the lower right side. I'm just going to overlap with this curvular serpentine movement. Maybe I'll stop one there and I'll start another one over here where I have two separate serpentine movements moving. And look at how that divided up that space. Wow, right? All right, let's see what we can do with the painting version. Remember, this is all about existentialism, abstraction. It's coming just from you being impulsive. We don't know definitely where it's coming from. Add more water to your mixture if you're going to use the brush idea, you see? You want that paint to be nice and loose consistency so it can flow off the brush when you move. You don't have to have a light gray like how I got. If you want it darker, come on over here and add your black. Take a little bit of the corner. See how I made that darker gray just that fast with the stuff that we have there already. Palette management. Notice how we're in the middle of the palette and we still have the perimeter to put up our other colors that we need. Palette management. Don't care how big or how small. You can be on the wax paper palette if you have it. You can be in one of those plastic palettes with the little vessels. Don't care. Still the same process. Spritz it. Keep them wet. Keep them moist. All right, I got the paint looking the way I want to. Now I'm just going to use the curve motions in this one. The C and the U. See, and I'm just coming through making spaces, dividing up space with that idea. Let them overlap. You see, Nadine, this is why, this is almost like doing an ideogram or a pictograph. Mm-hmm. Remember, Nadine?
Yep.
All right. So now look, here's another thing I'm going to show you about your water, everybody. This is why you should have two vessels. Okay, the reason why you should have two vessels is because you should have one to clean the brush off, right? Then once you have it clean to a certain level, you know it's clean. It's no material coming off on a paper towel. Rinse it off in your clean water to make sure. Mm-hmm. And then now your brush is ready. Now, some people may not get to this point to work like this, but you want to have at least your vessels ready for you beside you somewhere where you can do that type of cleaning to keep your brush clean. Not unless you like dirty paint, and some artists do like dirty paint. So you can use that. So just know that as a tip for keeping your brushes clean. All right, everybody? You good?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now we can get to that whole idea of what now? Color theory. Dun, dun, dun. We done went through the formal stuff. We got our formal idea together. Some of you are probably adding and making it very intricate in certain areas with like nice triangular motions, overlapping with a curve. Remember, it's like a coloring book, so you got to leave enough space to get colors in or be comfortable with overlapping. You see? So then this is where I introduced to you guys, and some of you already know it, the limited palette idea. So we have our blue out there already. I'm gonna put some red out here. The red that I'm using for right now is crimson, and it's from Winsor & Newton, everybody. Look at how pretty that color is there. Woo! Chunky, chunky, wouldn't you say, everybody?
Yeah.
Notice how I put out an ample amount. Now you can be frugal, but with the way that I like to instruct and give people suggestions for the fundamentals and to get you started, I say the more you waste, the more you learn.
Hey,
so
Don.
You can put out more paint. Say again?
Don, could you talk about that aloe vera thing you introduced to us the other week?
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome.
What you can do is, I don't have a jar of it right now that I can show Nadine of what Josh's suggestion that I explained that was a good idea. But what you can use is, they call it the clear or the unfragranced aloe vera gel. And what you can do is you can take and put like 2 tablespoons inside of your spritz bottle. And what that does is the silicone inside which is the aloe vera gel, helps to keep things a little bit moist a little bit longer. So it stunts the coagulation or the drying process. So you can use aloe vera gel, unfragranted. You can use the aloe vera plant yourself if you know how to strain it to get the gel away. You can just add water to it, blend it, and then strain the fiber out so you can have just jelly juice. And you can use that inside your water for when you're using acrylics or watercolors. Works good with watercolors too as well, everybody. And you can add it to your paint if you wanted to. We'll talk about that aspect, but thanks, Josh, for bringing that up for the water bottle idea.
Thanks for explaining it, Don.
No problem, no problem. That's what we're here to do, man.
And so,
then look, say again, Nadine?
So when you add it, when you spritz it, that keeps the paint alive longer or wet?
Well, what it does, not that it keeps it alive longer, it keeps it acrylic paint from drying out fast.
Okay.
So I suggest like you put at least 2 tablespoons or a tablespoon, how you feeling, inside your jar. You'll figure out your own mixture of that after you start dealing with the material. You see, so I give these simple little equations so you can start using them to see the advantages of using them, and then now you can change how much you're using to get different effects. So have fun with that, everybody. But know basically, if you put a little bit in your water, it helps to keep your paints wet. Now, it's not going to keep them wet forever. You got to manage it. So every so often, you want to look at your palette every 5 minutes or so, just to keep it wet.
Can you say that again? You broke up a little bit.
Okay, what you want to do is just every 5 minutes or so during your session, you just want to spritz your palette like so. Like I have some of that mixture inside here. I use a different mixture. Can't tell you mine's, I have to kill you all. But that is the material. So
too funny.
A tablespoon first in a jar like this, and then put it inside the jar and use it. Shake it every now and then, because you're going to have separation. And then you can spritz it. You can also do that on your paintings too as well. And we'll talk about that. Because it's already in your bottle, you're using your spritz bottle, it's going to be in everything. So it's a good idea. I'm using chrome yellow, everybody. It's a nice warm yellow. It's pretty much like if you have primary yellow. Okay, everybody? This is called the limited palette, everyone. Red, yellow, and blue, black and white. Limited palette, and you should be able to make all the colors that we want to use. So, everybody, since I got it facing downward, I'm gonna take our watercolor or our color wheel and put it down in front of us. So which way are we going today, everybody? Do you want me to navigate it, or we just want to throw out how we feeling? Are we feeling cool or are we feeling warm? Or if you have two like me, we're gonna do one warm and one cool.
Surprise me.
Oh, all right, you with a surprise idea. Okay, Nadine, what you with today?
I'm saying, yeah, let's just go. Let's go with it. What you
Della, how you feeling? Which way would you like to go?
Whatever you want, Don.
Uh-oh, everybody's letting me be the navigator today. All right. So everybody online, this is another way we can get you to engage. If you wanted to see a certain color, put it in a messenger or the Instagram, wherever you're seeing this, and let us know what colors you want to see. But we're going to get started for future classes, right? Yeah, let's go. All right. For the warm one, let's make orange. So we're going to go orange to blue. You see that? So I have a suggestion to get something started. If you pick a color, I'm just going to pick orange. And then if I go directly across from it, blue is its opposite. So I already got my first color scheme. But I want to be more warmer on that side. So I'm going to deal with the yellow orange and that red orange, you see? The blue up, and to cause some difference, I'm going to use a blue. So let's go. How are we going to get this to go? Well, let's take the palette knife, and I'm going to get my Payne's gray out of here. So you see how you can just scoop this out if you keep spraying it? I can set this off to the side. You see what spraying does with the aloe vera in your water? It keeps that paint wet longer. And if you manage it, you can scoop up any paint that you've made, get it out of the way, right? Use your paper towel. Have your paper towel near. Wipe off the palette knife because it's still wet, you see? Then I can wipe it off my palette because my palette is still what? Wet. Now, if you have the plastic palette, you can do the same thing. You just wipe the vessel out. That's all you do. You scoop it out with a spoon or something, and then you spit out, then you wipe it out because you kept it wet. You see that? So now I can even spritz again and make sure I get that gray off there so it doesn't mix into any color that I'm about to mix. You see, this is where that whole idea of some of you never heard. I know if you're over 55, you heard this cleanliness is next to godliness. This is what they would do with their palettes. So every artist had their own way of dealing with the palette, but they had a generalized one. And this is the general way of dealing with the palette. So yes, you get palette management. All right, let's make this orange. I'm going to use my palette knife first just to pull the colors down. Remember, start off with the most bright, brilliant, or lightest impression first. So I'll get 2 scoops of yellow in here to make this orange I'm going to make. And Nadine, you don't have to make a perfect orange. I'm going to say it now to you. All right, this is mainly for people like yourself, Nadine, that have a battle with perfection. When you do the limited palette, the frustrations come in because you have limited things to make the color.
Right.
So I know that's part of the frustration. But what it does is it forces you to have to deal with mixing a color gradually.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just suggestions for beginners and people that are intermediate and stuff like this to understand how to keep colors clean and pure. You know, if you want a clean color, this is a very direct. So this is called a direct way of painting. You're painting, you're mixing the color first, and then you're placing it. That's direct. Indirect would be wet into wet then. I got stuff on the surface, I'm just grabbing color and going right in. That's where a lot of us have issues in between indirect and direct movements. So like I said, let's go back in here because I can get the blabber in my mouth a lot. And it's what, 10:41. All right, we start with the yellow, right? I get an ample amount of yellow, let me go with a third scoop. I'm just gonna put it in there. Wipe my knife off. Now I'm gonna add a tip of the red gradually. You see, just a little touch of it. Put it in there, mix it. Now this is that whipping the eggs thing that Nadine likes. Now I'm using the tip of the knife. And notice how I use just that little tip of red. Look at how it infiltrated that yellow. So this is why you start off with the most brilliant or the brightest color that you have to start your mixtures. So you can control the value or the intensity of the color, you see? And you want it all mixed in. You want to try to keep it in the middle. And you see how I got that orange? So now it's very loose, but I want it loose. Because now what I'm going to do is, we can have some fun. And if you have them, everybody, you can use a sponge. So I'm going to use one of those artsy-fartsy sponges that you see in the art stores, the little round synthetic ones, not the real ones. We'll probably use a natural sponge later. That's a natural sponge. Tea sponge, as they call it. But we're going to use this one for now, everybody. And if you don't have it, you can use your bristle brush that we're going to use. If you don't have that, then you can use a piece of toilet paper if you have to. You use anything. We are creative beasts over here.
Yes.
All right, everybody?
Art thugs.
There you go. All day. So then look, since we're thugging as artists right now, take your sponge and put it in your clean water. If you have clean water, to get it ready. Make sure you wring out as much water as you can from the sponge so it's not sopping and dripping. You don't want that type of effect just yet. Now in that orange that I did, because my sponge is wet, I'm gonna dab it in that orange, and in this one, I want this one warm. I'm just gonna start dabbing this orange in. And look at how thin it is, you see? It's going right over top. You see? So I can fade it out or have it thin out if I want to, you see? So I can have one area where it looks like it's blending out with the white if you want to. Now you can do anything you want with that orange once you make it. It doesn't have to be the exact same orange I just made. But what you're gonna see is with yellow, mixing yellow, that color, depends upon what company you go with, is a thin interpretation coming out of the jar or the can. So we're using that thinness to our advantage. Now, what I mean by that thinness is that it's not opaque. You see how it's going over the paper, but it's leaving the lines coming through. So I suggest that people always start off their pieces in a thin manner. I'm going to take that same intensity with the sponge, and then I'm going to sponge it over at the bottom here and let it fade out too as well. So on this warm side, I have two colors, and I'm starting off with one of the most intense vibrations that you can deal with is yellow-orange or orange. It just gives you a certain brilliance, you see, just to start the page. Now, I'll ask this of everybody. Do you want me to carry on with the warm one or start the cool one at the same time?
I want you to start with the cool one at the same time, Don.
Okay, we got Josh on dualism. Okay. Nadine, do we want that?
Yes.
Raydella,
Yeah.
we want that?
Yes.
Okay, that's what rules the day. Whoever's in here working with us live gets to rule which way we go. You know? I may be on the ship wheel, but I'm looking at my navigators now. You guys are the navigators. So if I look over and say, "Oh man, which way we going, guys?" You go, "Oh man, let's go cool." You see, so then look, I rinse my sponge out, right? Then you want to put it in your clean water and then dump it out in dirty water so you can get as much of that yellow out, or use another sponge. So I got another sponge for that. And on the cool side then, which way are we gonna go? I'm feeling green. What you think, guys? How you feeling? I'm feeling green. Y'all said let me go, right? So I'm gonna use this other sponge for the next one, for the cool side. So let's go. Let's make this green then. So I'm gonna go orange out of the way. I'm gonna leave it there. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move over my yellow, my green that I'm gonna make over here. Now I'm not gonna make it a yellow green because that yellow green is going towards what? That brilliance of the orange. So I may dial it down to come closer to a regular green, which means that if I show my color wheel to everybody, I'm not going to start over here with the yellow green because that's where we are with the yellow orange. You see? So if I really want this to feel cool, I'm going to come down into this area over here of the yellow, orange, and the green. So now if you have a viridian green, an emerald green, you can use that right away. Or you can use our limited idea, once again, that helps you with mixing colors and understanding the color wheel if you use this limited idea. You take some of the yellow, you put it over here. Take another scoop of yellow, put it over here. You see that, everybody? Wipe your knife off, not on your sponge like I was about to have a bubblehead moment. Let's move that sponge out of my hand. I got a paper towel in my hand, so I keep that in my hand to wipe. If it gets too mucked up, I throw it to the side and get another piece. That's how I do it. I just throw it to the side, and then I have the pieces where it's like little individual Bounty brand. You can get the cheaper brand from the dollar store. It doesn't matter. Paper towels are paper towels. It's up to you. Excuse me, everyone. So now you have these pieces. I take two pieces and just hold them in my hand. I put the other two pieces to the side. Sometimes I keep those next to my water vessel. So I have the yellow here. Now, watch how fast the blue infiltrates that yellow. See? Everybody can see that? Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Now look, I'm just taking a tip of it. You see? Tip of the knife. That's a small increment of paint there. And now I'm putting that in the yellow. And what we do, Nadine? Whip the egg.
With it.
And you see how fast that blue infiltrated that yellow to make yellow green? All right, so now I turn my knife over. Yeah, that's the sound we want to hear, that whipping if you're using your knife. They have the plastic ones too, everybody, that you can get from Michael's. You know?
In the dollar store. And the dollar
store. Yeah. You got it from the dollar store, Raydella?
Yeah, I've seen them in there. I didn't buy them yet.
Okay, no, as long as you see them, that's letting us know that it's in there, because I haven't been in there in a while to look for art supplies, so I don't really know how the stores are doing in our Delaware Valley. We don't know how many people is watching, so we're talking about the Delaware Valley, right, Raydella?
Yes.
So out this way, we know now, because you did the report, hey, we got that in our dollar store system out here. So then you can go to the dollar store, everybody, and find these white plastic palette knives, and they're great. indispensable, and you can use them just like I got the metal ones. Or you can go to Michael's, or you can go to Dick Brick, or any major art store you have, or go online and get the metal ones. However your expenses going. So then you see how I got that yellow-green going, right, Nadine?
Yep.
It's thoroughly mixed. So now I may not want it to be that brilliant. So now I take another touch of blue, and it's a little bit more now, you see? This is how you control the vibration of the color that you're looking at, Nadine. So then this way you don't have to worry about it being perfect. You're bringing it up gradually to the color that you want to see.
Yeah.
Then once you see that color, now you stop it. So I put another blue in there. I'm mixing it up, Josh. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Whipping it like eggs, man. You see, it's still in that area where I said I wanted it to be, where it's in between yellow, green, and green, but more so tipping towards that green side. Try to keep everything in the middle when you're mixing, everybody. Try to control it. When you're doing this type of piece, I'm not worrying about it being a finished piece just yet. I'm worried about more so the journey for you guys of understanding how to get to these colors that you want, how to start your equations and get an idea going, and knowing that perfection is a lie. It's based upon what you're going to do. All right, here's another one too. You got excess paint on your brush or on your knife. Wipe it off on the edge of your palette. Move it back up and then put it right back in there with the excess was on your knife. Wipe it off. So now for me, that's a cool enough green. Nadine, if you didn't like that particular green, you add another tip of blue in there.
Okay.
But you use smaller increments to get up to the color that you want. This is how you get that control that we're talking about, Nadine, okay?
All right.
Yeah. Ray Della, the same thing, but I know you don't really have that many issues mixing colors, you know, but this is still help you too as well, okay?
I know how to mix colors.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like with somebody like you, this is just rehashing what you already know. So then you can keep your colors cleaner, and you may have other ideas for colors. Okay. Same thing for you too, Josh.
You got it.
All right. Now look, I got the sponge again. I used the other bathroom type sponge, the ones we use on our domesticated days. Grab that, sponge it in, and now instead of starting from that corner, I'm gonna start from the opposite side corner. And then look, see, that green is still loose too as well. Why? Because that yellow is a base. And that yellow is thin. So if the yellow is thin, every color that comes from it is going to be thin until you find a more opaque paint. This is where you get the differences between a student paint and professional paint. You see, but I use them both together, and I'll go the opposite way with this one, you see? And notice how you can dab it in if you want to, if you like that effect. I like scrumbling. And I like it to fade out, you see? Now, while we was doing all that talking, the other one is dry, you see? So if you're working like this, you got two going like how I'm doing. This is what happens when you're able to work on one, the other one is drying. So now I did that on this one. I'm feeling cool. Let me move over here and start really looking into what else I want to do over here. So then now I'm going to take my brush out. I'm going to bring my brush back out. And now with that orange, I'm going to add a little touch of yellow to fatten it up, to thicken it up, to make it a little bit more dense, opaque. You see how I did it? Just a small tip of white on the brush, put it right into this mixture. See what the white did? I'm not trying to make a tint now, everybody. I'm trying to fatten up the orange that I had there already. Now, if it's too bright or brilliant, or it's too bright for my earlier stages, I like to stay in what they call your middle tone idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch a touch of this red and put a little bit more red in this orange, just to make it a little bit deeper, a little bit warmer. You see how that happened, everybody? Turn your brush over and in it. You want to have a thorough mixture. So you want to see just one color when you're mixing, everybody, just one color. So now that color is where I want it to be. Now I come in here and I can start randomly just filling in areas with this orange. Filling in spaces with that orange. You see what I'm doing? I'm just randomly picking corners and saying that's where that orange is gonna go, I'm gonna fill in this area with this orange right here. You see the randomness, everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, just go into the same thing, do the same thing in your piece. Find out where it is. It's a piece, whereas you made your own coloring book. See why I'm against the whole adult coloring book thing, Nadine?
Yeah.
This is how easy you can make your own. So then I would take this orange and be very liberal and go in and just pick areas, small areas, large areas. I'm just trying to see how it slightly covers that area. So that I know when I come back and I do another layer over that, it's going to be thoroughly covered. Uh-oh, my paints are drying out. What do we do, everybody? 1, 2, 3. I do 3 spritz. And not a spritz bottle now like they do for hair. You don't want those big clouds of water there. What you want is a spritz bottle where you can control the burst of the water. So you can make it a thin spray. You don't want it to be like a heavy mist to leave droplets. Then that's when you're gonna have little droplets in your paint. Not unless you want that as a textural effect. Let's see, I'm gonna add an area here. You can do as much or as little as you want with this stage. You're building up pieces, see? We're building up, trying to find it. We're trying to let it talk to us while we work. It's saying to me, Don, go a little bit deeper with the red. All right. I'm gonna take half of that orange and make it more of a red orange now. See what I did? I just took half of it and add red to that half. So now I got another vibration of red, or red orange, excuse me, of orange. So then now I'll come in here and maybe put this area in. Overlap it just a little bit. Maybe this area here. And then while you're working, you're looking to see the reaction of the paint. See if you're getting any excitement. Like, look at that bright and dark combination there. I'm gonna stop it right here. Because now I can make the paint even be, how would you say, hard edge. See, look at that. How many pieces have you seen that possibly started working out something like that? You know, Deegan Corn. Name some of the abstract expressionist artists that we all love that are Americans that have done this. Name some of the European masters that we follow that work in this way. Stream of consciousness, you call this too. Very random, you're letting it go. You're following what your heart may say. Let's do the same thing with the green then. Rinse your brush out. You know, get all the paint out, remember, and rinse it out again in your clean water to make sure it's clean. Now you can take a touch of the white. You see everybody like how we did before with the orange. Put it in the green. See what happens? So now look, that looks more like a yellow-green, even more so as soon as I put the white in to fatten it up. Okay, how I'm gonna bring it back down or bring it more so towards that green idea is I'm gonna add a touch of the blue on my brush. You see that? Watch how fast this is gonna turn to like 100 green almost. See that, everybody? It just took it down. I wanted a little bit deeper, so I'm gonna add some more blue to it. Notice how I'm not adding black to make it to do what everybody thinks would be calling making it darker. Notice I haven't used black. Notice how I'm using the white, but I'm not using the white to make a tint. I just used the white to fatten up and to reveal the true color that I made with this thin paint or translucent paint. Touch it again with the phthalo blue. Bring it up again. See what I'm doing, Nadine?
Yes.
A little bit at a time. Doesn't matter. I'm not worrying about the finish right now with everybody. You're going to finish on your own accord. It's more so about the suggestion and the journey together with us. Those of you that's not on the screen with us, come on, you can do it. Keep painting. Keep doing. You see? Make sure you get a thorough mixture. If you're just watching us because you like my charismatic voice, then yeah, how you guys doing? If you're just like, I have people that say Nadine, they just like listening to us. They like your voice. They like the people that come on. So they just like the interaction. So I understand those types are out there. So we got to entertain everybody. Absolutely. Some people are not as courageous as some of you are, like how you are, Ray Della, how you are, Josh. Just to jump on, Nadine, how you just shared, your experiences. Some people are not that courageous. So they just like to watch from a distance or watch from afar. That's okay. We want them here too. Because one day they might get confident to say, you know what, I'm going to join because these guys sound like they have fun.
Right.
So then look, we see what'd you say, Nadine?
It's baby steps.
Yeah. Geriatric, baby steps, rehab steps, call them whatever you want to call them. You know what I mean? We don't care when we the RB. So you see that green, how I bring the value down just by adding more blue? Yeah. So now I can come in here and now I'll add this color in here. Well, maybe I'll add it right here since there's nothing there. Yeah, that's a nice green I just made. It's almost like a hunter green. Not your Steiner green, Josh.
Okay. I know where that is.
There it is, bang. That's as an up and coming show that Josh is having, and I'm being the second wheel there over there at Burlington County College, or rowing Burlington County College in Mount Laurel.
Nice.
They wrote an interesting article about our connection as far as mentorship and camaraderie in the arts.
Oh gosh, you got to share it.
We did. We shared it, and it's out there, and check it out on the page. I'll share it again on the Let's Paint and Draw page so you can see that, everybody, so that you can possibly go check the page out and put pressure on Burlington County as far as having opening in the pandemic.
Right.
So, there's opportunities to see me with people that I encourage to create all the time. I like showing with the people that I help to encourage to create.
And if I may take the floor a minute, a big thank you to my friend and mentor, DonStephens. So for people who don't know, I've been with many years, and because of him, I have the some of the know-how, because he made all my wonderful frames, because I don't want to do it.
Dig it?
I said, I don't want to do it.
Right, exactly.
Because of Don's lessons. So anybody out there wondering, a lot of the things I've got to do is because I've taken the time to listen. And some of the things I can't do is because I've been too stubborn.
That's okay. That's human condition, man. We all want to do what we want to do when we want to do it. When you're an art coach like me, you just got to sit back and wait and say, okay, are you ready for that lesson that you was avoiding? Yeah. And then you do what, Josh? You go, yeah, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Nadine does the same thing, right, Nadine?
Yes.
All right, yeah, okay.
But you know what? This is what I've learned. This is what I've learned about life, is when you experience something that kind of causes conflict inside of you or frustration, that's the moment of great growth. So it's a matter of, do you dive right in or do you walk away from it? And I'm a firm believer of diving right in, because beauty is on the other side.
There you go. And that's the main thing. Ain't that right, Ray Della? When we first met, we argued about clouds. Remember that?
Yeah, I think she's on the phone. I think.
Oh, she's on the phone? Oh, okay, well, I'll bring that up when she comes back. Yeah. Me and Ray Della met, and we met over, she wanted to do clouds. So that was a beautiful experience. And she remembers it. She might smile about it when she comes back on, if you're able to see her. She may chuckle about it. But I meet people in these different situations to be able to help and assist with your creative journey. I don't say what right and wrong is, because that's a myth. How can I say right and wrong here when we're doing a random movement?
Right.
I'm showing you how to do it both ways. You see, ooh, I got the run in my mouth and I didn't say what the cool, well, I did say what the cool combination is going to be. It's going to be green, and we're going to have that red on the other side. So then look at this, everybody. Here's another little idea about mixing paint. Notice how we didn't touch the black, and we have this color, right? Let me spray my palette again, because my mixtures are going dry. So that's also for your mixtures too. You want to keep your mixtures wet? Spray them. Okay? So now look at this. We got to do an idea of what they call interference, everybody. This is a way on how you subdue a color. So look, we're using the yellow-orange, right? And then we're using pretty much a yellow-green here. So just for instruction purposes or guiding purposes, the suggestion, we're just going to look at the green and we're going to look at the orange, the base idea to get this to go. Because this is our pure hue, pure color. Now we look across to be able to bring that color down. What does it say to do as a suggestion? To desaturate it, you add the opposite into the color. So if I want this orange to go a little bit duller, I add a touch of this blue to it. Now it may go green. If it does, then that's when you back it back up. So I'll take it and use this side here. And you see, as soon as I put that blue in there, it started turning kind of green. So then that means, look, I can take this red orange that I made and sneak that in there, and then look at how we get this golden brown. See that?
Yeah.
Everybody, or no?
Yes.
All right. See how the green is disappearing when that red was introduced to make that red orange? I add a touch of the red again, just a touch of it. And I'm going to use this side over here. Look what happens. It goes even duller. I add a touch of the blue to it. It goes even duller. So then now I can use that as another color inside my piece. So then look, I'm going to use this one here. There you go. Look at that. And we brought orange down without adding black to it. See that?
Yes.
So now you can use that as another vibration. The idea of desaturation, or what they call interference, to make a color darker or duller without adding black. Because if I add black to that, it may turn green.
Yeah.
Because some of the blacks are cool. You see, so Mars black has a tendency to have like a bluish tinge to it. So when you add it to colors, just know that you're adding a cool to a color. And sometimes you may get a disastrous end. So this is another way of making colors darker or duller, or bringing the brilliance down, however you want to say it, is by using the opposite to bring the brilliance down of a color. The same thing goes for over here. If the brilliance of that blue is real high and I want to get another color to go around it, I'll take a possibility and take an orange or a red orange or a yellow orange and mix it into the blue. You see? The red orange would be the opposite of a blue green. The yellow green would be the opposite of a red violet. You see? The blue green, we already said, would be opposite of that one there. You see? So then notice what we got. Nobody's saying it. They're like, oh my God, Don, just keep going. We're just going to go with whatever you're saying. Yeah, whatever you say. You know, so then look, I'm just going to fill in some more spaces for interest. Maybe I'll come in here and take out some of that white and let it blend in. Let it be a little bit thin, you see? But notice what I'm doing. I'm just filling in as I go. Now, sure, if I was an instruction and making sure everybody's using a suggestion, would it move a little bit faster? Yeah. Are some of your pieces moving a little bit faster? Possibly. You see? So now look, I'm going to rinse my brush off, and we're going to do the same thing for the green, for our cool side. So with our cool side, I'm rinsing my brush off again, getting all the color out. Rinse it out in the clean water again to make sure the brush is really clean. You see? So now look, I'm going to take this and split this in half. Now the opposite of green is red. So we already said we was going to be in between the yellow, green, and green spectrum here. So that means that I have an opportunity to do what if I come across? I can use this in between here as a mixture to dull down this color. I can either go with straight red or add blue to it to make violet, the red violet, and then mix that into it. See, this is all limited palette movements. Now, yes, can you buy these colors? Yes, you can buy these colors and have them. But to understand the purposes of the color, I believe, as a suggestion, start off with a limited palette so you can understand and start seeing color. And once you're able to start seeing the color, now you'll be able to make your own palette. Like all those European masters, African masters, Spanish master, whatever master you want to look at, they all do it the same way. They start off in limited and you build up. Because these colors will be your language now. So if you can master this limited palette, then if you start adding more, add another yellow, like a yellow ochre. Add another red, like a cadmium red light. You see? Add another blue, like a cobalt blue or cerulean blue. You see? Have 2 of each, and then now you can go in between colors faster. Now you'll understand the purposes of the colors that you pick and not blindly just buy them and say, I want to have a new fancy color. You may be able to explore color through mixing and be able to find a color, and you can go to the store and buy it, but now you know how to make it and you know how to use it in your equations. See, that's what's important. Not just to be able to go to the store and buy 3,000 colors and say, oh, all right, I'm going to paint it. You got to know what those colors are about and how they work in your hand. With that being said, let me split this green in half. So look, I rinse the brush out once again, make sure it's wet, nice and moist. I take a touch of this red, just a touch of it. See how mine is still wet all over? Because I spray it every 5 minutes and I spray everything else and keep everything wet. Now, on this side, I'm just going to divide it in half. I'm going to put this red with this green on this side. And you see how it went gray? Look at that. You see it? Mm-hmm. That's called cancellation. That's called interference, everybody. We just bring the brilliance down in that green by adding a touch of its opposite, which is the red. I like that, Nadine. If you don't like it, add something else to it to make it more of what you see. If it doesn't come out and it starts looking more like mud, wipe it off your palette, Nadine. Start all over again. It's not a contest. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
We're just trying to find these colors that we want to adore and see. So see, look, yeah, that's a dark one, but it's almost close to what we already got there. So since I put that there, I'm gonna let that one exist, right? And then I'm saying I'm gonna switch that real quick. I'm gonna find another small space where I can put this off in somewhere. Here we go, right? And notice how I'm using this like a coloring book and being random, everybody. And if you look on your screen, you can see how it's starting to change. Now, does yours have to look like mine? No. All I'm saying is you should have some type of interaction or action starting to happen that you can feel some type of way about it. See? That green, I really don't like the way that green is, Nadine, so I'm with you this time. I'm going to add a little bit more blue to that green.
Yeah.
To make it even cooler, you see? Yeah. So I don't think we're going to get the palette knife in this one because we're trying to be clean. So then what we're going to do is start building up the consistency of the paint. You control that too, all right, Josh?
You got it.
Yeah, buddy. See, that one is still too close. Still too close. And then how do I change this green again? I can add a touch of yellow to it now. And that touch of yellow is going to switch it up again. There we go. And what we're doing right now, this is a very, what they call, direct way of painting. You're mixing the color first and then you're placing. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen is the colors that you have underneath in certain areas starts to blend in or show through the paint layer that you're putting on top. So that adds another brilliance to the paint too as well. Now on my cool side, I like the way this green is going. But now I may break rhythm. So I really know it's cool. I'm gonna rinse my brush off. And I'm gonna go straight into that dark blue, that phthalo blue, straight from the mixture here. I'm not even gonna mix it in anything. I'm just gonna get the consistency together. Now look at how we're staying in a certain middle tone idea as far as brilliance of color is concerned. I'm not going to the brightest bright. I haven't ascended or descended down into the darkest darks yet. But we want to stay in a middle tone idea to start making things happen. Now I'm just going to take this blue on the cool side and I'm going to start placing it. Like, I like this area right here, so I'm going to place it right in here. And you see how when that blue went over top of the green, because of the consistency that I'm still staying with that I talked about from the beginning, that green layer is showing through there. You see? So then look, I'm going to take this area down here and then leave that green in there. See how it shows up blue down here? Now watch when I go over this green area right here. Look at how it's green in there. See that?
Mhm.
Know everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you can notice over the white areas that blue came right out. Over the green areas, it went to a deeper green. So now I cover some of this green in this corner right here. Carry that off. Now I got an implied line down. See? And then you just keep on filling in using different vibrations of the blue, the yellow. This is my cool side. Say, for instance, just to stay with the rhythm of what I got, maybe I want that blue to show up here. So then, all right, let me give an area up here where this blue would be. You know, you can turn your music on and just go away somewhere. Just filling in your own design as a coloring book. You can make your own little, you know, mandala based upon your design that you made. Stream of consciousness. This would be what Anne Ryan and Lee Krasner and some of these ladies that was in that movement of stream of consciousness, abstract expressionism. This is what they talk about. So it's replicating, duplicating, echoing. I got a blue down here, I put a blue up here. I put a blue over here somewhere, like right here. That means as a rule that I'm making up for myself now. And you're gonna make up your own rules too when you're filling. If I put that blue there, then I have to put another blue over here somewhere. Take that same blue, come on in here. Fill in that area there. You're gonna get to a point where you're gonna want to start doing other things. So then what does that mean, everybody? Okay, watch. I'll rinse this brush out. And just to speed up the process and to show you this idea, this is where now I go into making a shade. So now with that same green there, I take a touch of black and I move some of that over. And now I'm making a shade. You see, mix some of that green in there. All right, I don't have enough green in there. Add a touch of blue to this black and a touch of yellow. That brings the green idea with the black back in. You see that, everybody? And now I have a nice shade of that particular green that I see. Now I come in here and I find some spaces to put it in. Oh yeah, look at that one, nice and dark. I like that. So when you're adding black, you're making a shade. See, I put one there. Let me put one right here. See what that does with the green in there. See, that changes that whole fill around. It almost looks like a shadow to that particular green that I just put there. You see? So then you can do things like that. You also come in and then take half of a section that's already done and then paint it halfway through. And let it run over the last color you just made. So you see how I took the edge here and took this green and split it. And put that shade of green right over top of that. And then let it go halfway in there. I'm even gonna make a little line that goes around it halfway like that. And it stops right there, boom. And then let it overlap the green that's down, the blue green and green that's down here. So it shows through. You see that? As we start adding on more and more things are gonna start to happen. But somebody said, hey man, what about the warm side? All right. For the warm side, hey, let's start brightening up the world. See that white in the middle that we left in the middle over there? Let's brighten up the world over there. Let's make some more brilliance. So then, look, let's take this yellow now, right? I'm gonna take a scoop of this yellow, move it over. Scoop of yellow with the full brush now measurement, put it over here. Now I'm going to take a touch of the red. Just a touch of the tip, measurement. Put that over in here. And now I'm going to add the white. Take a little touch of the white, put that in there. Mix that together. Make sure you try to keep it in a nice pile in the middle. Flip your brush back and forth. See that brilliant, tint of orange that I made? Yeah. Now we can come back in here. I'm gonna put some more red in there just because I'm feeling it. Yeah, there you go. I like that. I want to go warmer like fire. So now I take this orange and now I add another touch of white to it. See? Make it thicker, make it a little bit more opaque. Now that I'm moving up into the layers of the painting, now I can start adding thicker paint. Let's see here. I'm gonna go in here. Yeah, I'm gonna go in right here. You see and feel this area right here. It should dry a little bit darker, everybody. Know when you're dealing with acrylic paint, it dries darker than what it is when it's wet. You see? So now I just take it and liberally put it where I want to put it. I'm gonna put a little slither down here. Right here. Now the first stages of it, you just want to fill it in. Get all your areas filled in that you want filled in. Now I'm just going to go here, touch it in the red again and make it more red, and even more fire to that color. See that? And it still is a direct way of painting because I'm mixing the color first so I can see it. If it gets too thick, I add a touch of water to my mixture. Another thing you can do is that this is where you can take your spritz bottle and spritz it. Now you have that aloe vera in each one of your mixtures. What happens is that sets up a nice little sheen on the end of the paint that's like a gloss medium almost. You see? So now I want that even redder. It's not going red enough for me. So now I'm gonna take the whole thing, the whole brush full and put it in. I really want to see that red brown, that red orange. Yeah, you see that now? I can take that, leave it mixed like that, or I can just make sure it's thoroughly mixed in the middle. And now I can come in here and add certain areas. Like, all right, we added it in here, right here. See how big that is now? See how it's covering the areas? Yeah, leave that shard in there. Yeah, let's go right here. Notice how I'm randomly doing it, Nadine. I'm not worrying about, this idea of perfection or this idea of it has to go in a perfect place. I don't know what the perfect place is. So if I don't know where the perfect place is, I just gotta work and fill in spaces and see what this experience showed me to be able to move on to the next one that I'm gonna add what I learned from this to the next piece. See what I'm saying, Nadine?
Got it.
That's the way it works. That's where you stay away from the idea of perfection and you build up a nice, catalog of work, Josh. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just random, just going. You can keep 2 pieces like this on the board for a week, 2 weeks. But at the end of the road, you got 2 pieces done. You see, some people, they'll look at these pieces and they don't move as fast as we're moving today. They'll do a couple of these spaces and fill in and then walk away. Like I like Danny Simmons' work. So, when he works this way, I've noticed he'll take a couple of days where he's just looking at the work so it can speak to him. He even talks about it on his, on his pages and stuff. So, that's a good thing to look at some of our contemporaries that are around us in Philadelphia. Danny Simmons works like this. There's a couple of other artists that work this way too as well. But when you see them work, they take their own liberty, moving at their own time accord to get the feeling that they're looking for. Sure, we're moving fast because of, the workshop idea and things like that. But does this piece have to be done today? No, it doesn't have to be done at the end of the session. This is another one of those suggestions that you can take with you and keep it going. Do more, you see? And then our next session, we're going to do something else that's going to challenge you in your creative journey, in your process, and just give you a tidbit, you see? If you want classes, you can see me throughout the week in different locations, or you can have me private. Either which way, just take the suggestion and create. Keep going, keep doing, keep challenging yourself. How many of these can you make that sooner or later start to make sense to you alone, possibly? What is that possibility? You see, look, I'm gonna fill in this area, just this small area right here with the red. You see, maybe let me take some more of this yellow and then make another vibration of this red. And then now I can do the same thing, take a touch of black and make this a shade of that orange. See what happened when I put black in that orange? Notice what happened, Nadine? What did it do?
Yeah, it made it
Brown.
brown.
Mm-hmm. Because the Mars Ivory black that I'm using is a cooler black. So since it's cooler, it has a little bit of blue in it, and blue is what? The opposite of orange. So you're going to get a nice result when you make shades with black and orange. So let's go for it. Let's put them in someplace. Let me do the same thing I did over here, but do it now with this shade of orange that I just let it have that whole side right there, and then let it overlap something somewhere. You can see the other preceding colors possibly underneath. Notice how I'm all over the tape. We don't care. Work over the tape if you got it secured down. If you don't have your artwork secured down, then how would you say, have some clips, even some paper clips, and clip down the edges of your page on the page that's underneath of it so it doesn't curl up on you. So you may have to sacrifice a page every now and then, but you still can work over those pages if you're working this way. See?
Yeah.
Let me take that same shade of orange that I made by adding black to it. And now that I added it on one side, I have to do what, everybody? I have to add it on the other. So then I'm going to take this area right here, and I'm going to make it switch over and then take that corner like that. And it's like a chart. Think about if you were doing pumpkin paintings. You could use this type of orange in your shadow areas of a pumpkin. Nobody responded.
It ain't October yet.
Trying out, spray your palette. I notice it on mine, so every time you see me spray it, take it as a suggestion, spray your palette, because it might be drying out. So if you look at the screen and you see this bottle in my hand, say, oh, okay, let me check my palette and see if it's dry. It's drying out too fast. Because I still want these mixtures to stay wet so I can use them to build on with more of these midtones before I go to the high key colors. See, you work your middle vibrations. Your middle vibrations, if we're looking at this tonal scale on the side here, everybody, I normally say this is 100% or 10. This would be 1%, or 0 will be up here to blanket your page. You see? So you can control the vibration or the intensity of the color, the brilliance of the color, by understanding how to dance in this. Now, the dance in your middle tones would be somewhere in between 3 to maybe all the way down to 7, if you can see it. So this area right here will be considered your middle tone area as far as vibrance is concerned. So with understanding that tonal scale like that, now you can keep the colors at a certain vibrance before you take them up or even deeper to take them down. You get that, Josh?
Yep.
Sometimes you may have an issue with that every now and then, controlling the differences between colors to get a reaction. You see? Yeah. How we doing, Ray Della? Oh, she's not back, or she left us?
She's still on, but left the room.
Okay. So how is our pieces going, you guys? I'm about to start asking, you know what I mean, what we looking like over there. You see what a warm and a cool is looking like. Some people would challenge you and say this is still in a warm idea because of this yellow-green. We can challenge and debate that. You see, and that's the fun part of art. You can debate those type of things. Is that green warm or is it cool? Well, considering the family that it's rolling with, it has to be cool. Do I want to make this cooler? Okay, let me rinse my brush off. And now I'm really going to go there now. Because look, we got that green, right? I'm going to go over and dial over into blue-green, right? And then we're going to add white to that blue-green to make a tint of a blue-green. So then look, I'm going to take the blue. I'm going to use that area where I had the blue already. I'm going to add a touch of yellow to this to get the green going. See that, Nadine, how I just added a touch of the yellow just to get the green going. See? Yeah. To keep the blue vibration there even more. And now we should see something beautiful happen when I add a touch of this white to this. I use a lot more than what I normally would use, but it's okay. We're making a tint of that green, and look at that pretty blue-green and aqua green that I just coming out like a sky blue almost. So then now when I got it like that, you hear what I was saying? I'm saying I want more of a green feeling. So what do? I add more of the yellow to this mixture.
Right.
And now look at how that green just jumped out there. You see that? It's still blue, but it's a particular blue-green. And this is the one that I saw for me. Nadine, which one do you see for you to use as a possibility? You see? In your mind's eye, to be able to take the color and bring it out. So now I really can make this whole thing feel cool. I want to take large areas with this. You know, I'll take this whole area right here and fill in with that particular vibration. See that? And all this sea of green that's here is starting to do certain things, you see? This is just one way of working. It's random right now, but then it can become more concentrative when you become more efficient or proficient in making the move and the movements on the page that you particularly like to work with. The only way it's going to come out is if you use a random idea. So I would say to a lot of you, reduce the size of the paper so you can do multiple. This is 9 by 12, 9 by 12 pieces of paper. Okay, I took an 1824 piece of paper and ripped it into 4 pieces. So if you buy the 18 by 24 watercolor paper that I said, and once again, it's 110 pounds, and you can get that from either Dick Blick or Artisans and Crafters, or even at Michael's. They have the white paper in a bundle, and they call it media paper, and it's 18 by 24. If you buy a pack of 100 of that, and you rip them into 4 pieces, you got 400 pieces of paper, right? Yeah. So you do the math, or you can go get Bristol paper from Staples, or what they call cardstock, and use the 8.5 by 11 ream paper, and you have like 500 to 500 pieces of paper for like $20. So you can economize if you want, or you can go buy the heavy duty stuff from the real art stores in your area. All right. Do I want to make more tints to make that green a little bit more intense? Well, all right, I'll take some of this white again. I'll split this in half and only use this in the half area of that particular. And now I'm making a true tint of that green. I don't want it too high now. I don't want that tint to ascend too high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to control it by touching it with a touch of black. And I mix that in there and notice how it brings down. Look at that. It's still a nice color. So now I can take this color and go in here and let's see. I may want this in smaller areas. So then let me put this in a smaller area. So you keep accumulating paint on the surface. Soon you're going to get to a point where all of this is filled in, and then you start asking yourself,
do I want to go over certain areas that add more interest, just to blot out areas? So right now, I wouldn't do that. I'm still trying to find a rhythm. I'm still trying to find out where I want to put certain colors. Like, I like the way that green looks in there. So I'm going to take this particular blue-green and put it in this area. Do I have to fill in the whole area? No, you guys, you can fill in half the area if you want. Matter of fact, I'm going to leave that just like so. So we can have some of this other area exposed, and we just have a little bit of the green. So you don't have to think that you have to totally fill in the whole shape or space that you made. You can just do part of it. You see? Like, all right, I'm gonna come over here and do part of this one and leave some of that white in front of that before we get to that line, you see? Just because, just to see what's gonna happen, see what reaction I'm going to get. I'm gonna take half of this area and then make it like a angular cutoff over here, just to leave some of that green there. And you see how that green in that area almost looks like a gray almost. You see, maybe since I like that, I'll do the same thing on this side and just cut it off halfway. I really like that green. I might keep that in my palette for other pieces, you guys.
Yeah.
You see, but that's exploration for you. This is how you find things. Hey, I like the way that felt. I'm gonna put a little space chart of that over here, right off this green right here. It's right at the edge of the tape. To cause some type of, I would just say, reaction. You see? And look what starts to happen. If you look at what I'm doing, you can see the randomness and everything. This is where the fun can come in. But you just are making tint, shades, and you're using a limited palette to make your colors. And look at how it seems like we have a whole bunch of colors, but you can see my palette. It's limited on both sides. So this is where we have to look at you guys now and see where you guys are at. Oh yeah, I heard you, Nadine. All right, you guys. So now that we see that going on, right?
I'm moving like a turtle.
I know, but the turtle sometimes wins. And you can keep on moving like a turtle. I thought I was moving like a turtle. I must be moving like a young, fast tortoise. You know?
Well,
So, yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Somebody just sent a message. You guys can still hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. No problem. Thank you, you guys, too. So somebody just hit us up on a message and said, thanks, you guys. This really is a fun session. So they're not willing to show it, but they're having the session with us, like I was saying, Nadine.
Good.
So that's one of our first people that's saying they're not willing to show what they're doing and participate in that way, but they're still participating on the outside, listening and still trying to do one.
Well, that's the beginning.
Hey, that's the beginning. You're right, Nadine. Tell them that's the beginning.
That's fantastic.
Yes, indeed. How you say it sometimes, Josh? That's awesome.
I don't know that I've ever said that, but all right.
All right, then I threw it on the wrong person then. Oh, excuse me. Just professional artist now. Ooh, excuse me. Well, come on, let's see, Josh, since you're talking, let's see what you got going on, man. All right. All right, let me plug it up there. Yeah, way to go. You like that, huh? I knew this would be up your alley. Looking like Devencorn or somebody right now. These are how these artists work. De Kooning worked this way too when he did the Marilyn Monroe series and stuff like that. These are some artists that I just name off so that you can go look at their work and see possibly how they made their work. You know, am I saying I'm the guy to tell you that 200% they work that way? No, I'm just saying this is a way and a strategy of accumulating and getting a certain visual syntax, as you call language, on the canvas. Way to go, Josh. I like that one in the middle. That's your warm one?
Yeah, it's my warm one. These two are warm. This one's cool. Also,
All right.
this is something I took from Don suggesting it, not only having stuff primed and ready to go, but this middle one is cardboard, which I had never worked on before.
There you go. All right. You taking that suggestion. You can cover anything. You can find a piece of plexiglass in the street and clean it off and put some gesso on it and paint on it. This is why everybody loved Basquiat so much, because he took that from the abstract expressionist. You live in a bohemian lifestyle, you dig in the trash, you pull a window out, you pull a door out, cover it, paint it. It's another surface, everybody. So yeah, when you get those packages in the mail, try to cut off the larger size of the box, cover it with gesso, and use it as a painting surface for either acrylic, oil, or gouache. Way to go, Josh.
Yep.
All right. Who's next? Nadine.
You.
What's up?
What's up?
Let's see what you got, what you're working with.
All right, Nadine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you took the smaller version idea. You did it in your book. Way to go, Nadine.
Yep.
The cool one is on the bottom. The warmer one is on the top. Wow, I like the cool one on the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's doing something.
You might have found your vibration. You might like cool colors, Nadine. I don't know.
I just might like cool colors.
Yeah, but see, when you're doing stuff like this is where you find out that aspect of yourself.
Yeah.
Like I used to just do these, and when I had my garage space, when I first got out of school and I had my studio space, I would just do these all day, just to figure out different color strategies, to see the color.
Right.
Because my thing is, as a suggestion and as an observation, I think a lot of people have a lot of ambition, but they don't see these things. So yeah, I want to put purple down and all this arrays of purple, but have you seen that purple? I mean, like really seen it isolated by itself, by your own hand. Right. So then that's why when you first get into color and you're mixing, I suggest to people, just sit down and fart around with it. Just mix it and make different swatches of different colors. Yeah. Get to understand the material, get to mix it together, get to apply it. Like Josh, you can accumulate more stuff on them surfaces. Like how could you use the tint idea even more? Just you got those pieces to that level. What are some other possibilities of adding accumulation to the piece? Because remember, today was all about addition, accumulation.
Well, I started using the palette knife to load on in certain areas with a couple of different white colors.
That's good. That's
or
good.
I can continue with the bristle brush as I was doing, or start dabbing on with the sponge.
Okay, so then what about your color quality now for the intensity? Because we have to move out of the middle tone vibration idea and start going to more high key colors now to really put the punch on the surface.
Okay.
So then within the colors that you've made and you mixed, within those colors, how are you going to make a color, a signature color that's going to hop up out of there? With your cool color one, in the particular green that you're making, how are you going to pick out that green, like the green like this that I got my finger on, mix that up a little bit thicker, and then start to put in certain areas now, place in certain small areas and gaps in areas. Maybe overlap some areas, you see? Because your page is filled now. So you have what they call an all-overness now. There's a French term for it. I forget it. I mess it up. I'm not good with languages like that. But it means the fear of empty space. So that's what
I wrote that down too.
Yeah, I've said it in the sessions before. Just right now, I'm so excited because I got people working. I'm not going to remember it right off the top of my head. But if you look into that idea, now you're looking into a color that can be higher than what it is that you're doing. So now you can start to see where some things are of interest based upon putting a lighter vibration or a more intense or vibrant expression over top of areas now.
Hey, Don.
Yes.
The term is horror vace?
Yeah. Horrorville. I mess it up too as well, Josh. So we're Americans. We can mess it up.
Yeah.
But yes, that term means all overness. Fear of empty space, basically. It's a French painting term. So this is what the Impressionist was using too as well when they talk about divided touch. So I don't want to go too far over the deep end, everybody. That's just the concept, to have everything filled in on your surface with some paint.
No empty canvas showing through. You see? So now when you got your pieces where you're at, Josh, you can start looking for accent areas to put colors that are more brilliant, more vibrant, to bring more interest to your piece. Because the rule is if you work in your middle tones, your high key colors are going to jump even more and give you more variety and more push and pull. Okay, Nadine, the same thing for you two as well.
Okay.
Because at a certain point, this is where sometimes, Nadine, you wind up getting mud because you stay in one mode too long and try to put everything everywhere.
Right.
You see, now when you start working like this, notice I didn't touch my pieces in a while. I'm still looking at them to see where I want to go next. That's why I brought up Danny Simmons, because he's one of those ones that works that way. He'll start off accumulating stuff on the surface in his way, and then at a certain point, he starts looking. And he's looking at the surface to tell him something. Each artist does it. You know, most of the Philadelphia artists that are working and the Delaware Valley artists that's working that are our contemporaries, they use these ideas at a higher level. I'm just trying to suggest this stuff to you on a basic level, so fundamentally you can start having these beautiful experiences that may take you to that level of wanting to show out there in the big galleries. But just knowing how the movement is and the basic suggestion of the idea, look what you can do. So imagine if you apply persistence and repetition, then yeah, you're gonna go forward even more, and then now everybody will look at you like you're perfect because you took that time to have the journey. So that's what I mean by perfection is a lie. It's all about the journey, the perception, the persistence, the repetition. How many times you see a color, you know? How many times you can ask yourselves this, how many times have you actually done a painting where you considered doing one warm and one cool at the same time?
Only with you, Don.
So now you have a new strategy, you see? You know what I'm saying, Josh? New strategy to some work to get more work out. This is where you don't worry about what really the outcome is. You're just working. That's the stream of consciousness idea.
Okay.
Take some limited movements and ideas and thoughts, and you just accumulate them and you start working. Ideas that have work getting done. Now, I don't care if you have these two till next week. That doesn't bother me as long as you have two done at the end of the 2 weeks, if it takes you that long. If you get done at the end of the session, you feel as if it's done, then your challenge is to do two more then. Then when those get done, do two more again. Or when you start liking one side over the other, you start feeling like, you know what, I really like cool colors and I like working in curves and stuff like that. Then yeah, now you just isolate yourself to those movements because you'll have like 4 or 5 or 10 of these done to be able to look at it and say, well, how come I like using a curve so much over an angle? Then you can say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna use a curved line always now. And let's see what that does because I like curved lines. How do you find out what you like if you don't spend some time searching for it? You know? So this is what this session was all about, everybody, to get you open. And then once again, for those that this is your first time, I had some people that messaged me and said they was gonna be here. You didn't make it, that's okay. Long as you're working on the outside of this. Doing what Nadine did, drinking your coffee, going to buy your Keep Creating t-shirt. You see what I'm saying? Rock some funky glasses like Nadine, some real funky. You know what I mean? Hey, Maydella, you're back.
Yeah.
So,
A friend of mine dropped off a little kitten.
Yeah. Oh, now you got somebody to share time with while you're painting.
Yeah. We'll have to do some Paul painting.
I was just thinking that. Just thinking that.
I don't know. I have to find me a cat so I can do that with y'all. I have him run around the studio, then I can do it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Maydella, did you get a chance to do any more on your work today? Or no, you just, had to deal with your kitty cat?
My friend brought it down from Lancaster.
Oh, okay.
Lebanon, not Lancaster, Lebanon. We got a name.
So that's a country cat. That's a real country cat then.
Yeah, he's from Lebanon. I don't know what his name is yet, though.
Yeah, make up something. Have fun with him. He looks like he's enjoying you already.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm gonna finish my painting when I figure out what to do with him, feed him and water
Okay,
him.
no problem, no problem, Ray Della. What you can do is since I see you on the real side of life a lot of times, bring that piece in with you next week, and we'll talk about it too as well when I see you. Okay?
Okay.
All
I
right.
have
Enjoy your kitten.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay, Ray Della. I saw that.
Yeah.
I got
All right.
some done.
Great job, Ray Della.
I
Yeah.
like that, Ray Della.
Yeah.
Move it to your right a little bit. Move it to your right.
Oh,
Move
right.
your hand to your right.
Oh, that way.
There you go. Now bring it down. Right there. Yeah. Look at that. Wow. How did it feel to do that, Ray Della? Did it feel good to play with the colors?
Yeah, I like doing that.
All right. Now you got
I
another
like
suggestion on how to
You
work.
know, I don't like plain. I like anything that's wild.
There you go. So see,
And
now
this
you
is
have
wild.
another suggestion on how to work now, Ray Della. Don't have to worry about being perfect. When you was off, I brought up that time when we met, first time we met, and we was debating clouds, remember?
Yeah.
Look
tell
where
you
you
what.
at now, though.
I could do a lot better.
Yeah, you way
remember when
far from that point now.
Remember when I started, I only could do stick men, and you said to
Yep.
me, "I'll teach you how to paint." I'm saying to my daughter, "This ain't happening." I said, "But what? I could do different color stick men." That's all I thought I would be able to do.
Yep, but now look at you.
Yep. I could
Yeah,
do-
buddy, and that's the point altogether, everybody. That's the point. In other words, any questions?
I could do a portrait now, which I could never have thought I would even be able to do.
Yeah, she did a piece of the Pope. When the Pope came, I did a rendition of the Pope, and then she did a rendition of my rendition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just to be able to draw it. And when she did it, she shocked herself and shocked everybody in the room.
Yep, everybody. A lot of people said, "What, did Don paint it, not you?" That's what they told me.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's like,
wow.
no, I didn't do that. That was her.
You know what, Ray
And
Della? You're
everybody
not
was
alone.
shocked. Say again?
The Ray Della, you're not alone. Whenever I go to shows and I'm selling my work, nobody believes everything that Don trained me to do was all me, because people just believe
That's
you can
true.
only do one thing.
Yep. But now look at you now, Josh. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
A beast.
Yeah.
So remember, everybody, we got a show coming up that's over at BCC. They might not have an opening, but you can go check out the article. I'll put the article on the Let's Paint page, Let's Paint and Draw page for us, and then you can check it out. And if they do have an opening, I think Josh and I won't mind you coming over and checking us out and talking trash and asking crazy questions. Yeah, we won't mind that.
No.
Do you see my Pope picture?
Say again? Yeah, there's a Pope picture, everybody. There's a Pope picture she did.
Nice.
Yeah, you see? So, like I'm saying, everybody, they're just suggestions, and you can take them and use them and utilize them. It's up to you when we're doing sessions like this, because there's no right and there's no wrong. There's only what is, and perfection is a lie, repetition is the truth. And the last part of that equation is keep creating.
Yeah.
That I used to always use. Here's another one: is art is life and creativity is in the soul.
Art is life.
Body,
Creativity is in the soul.
Art is life. Everything around you is based upon art. So art is life. But who is going to be the one that's going to be the most creative? That's in your soul now.
Creativity.
And that's for you, each one of you, to bring that out. You got to bring your soul out, and that's what this does. It helps you to go inside to see what you like from the inside out. Because notice, I didn't say that anybody was wrong. There is no wrong, there is no right in doing work this way. There's only what is. And can you persist to keep doing the next one, to see what other things can you find based upon addition? This one wasn't about subtraction at all, everybody. This was all about addition. How do you add the material to the surface with a limited palette idea so you can get to understand colors more? Am I saying, say again?
I didn't see the other people's besides yours.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. Hey, Josh, you want to show yours again?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Yeah, no problem, Ray Della, no problem.
Add more. Let me tell
There's
you.
Josh's right there. You got it up there, Josh?
Yep.
All
Oh,
right.
that's nice.
Thank you, Ray Della.
Very nice.
You see?
Man,
Hey,
Where's
Nadine, you
Nadine?
ready to show yours
Where's
again, Nadine?
Nadine? What are you still working on it, girl?
Yeah, that's how Nadine be working. There you go.
Cool. Oh, I
You
like
see?
that bottle. Really cool. With
Yeah.
the blues.
That's
nice.
what I like. I like that one down there too, Ray Della. That's what I told her too. I like the
Something's
cool color
happening
one.
here.
Yeah, I know what's happening. You're finding yourself. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
You're finding how you like to put these colors together when we have these opportunities like this.
Yes.
Like that's what people don't understand. It doesn't have to be this intense thing all the time.
Right.
It can be a loose thing and you still can find and explore.
Mm-hmm.
You must have a journey. You must have the first hand. You're having the first hand with us, and that's what we do. Today I didn't have my coffee. I'm sorry, everybody. I had water today. So I did my water today, okay? So, but you can have water, your tea, your coffee, whatever it is, and join along with us. Draw along with us. Paint along with us.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, Ray Della. Yeah. So that's all I have to say. Pretty good session, everybody, wouldn't you think?
Oh, man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I want to give it up to everybody that came in on the Zoom, Ms. Raydella, Joshua, for guidance of Don Stephens, giving us this wonderful suggestion that's got me tapping into my cool side. I'm not going to lie. I want to keep going.
You all like that cool one that you did, man. You can't get away from it now.
I don't know what to do with myself.
I know. All that's going to happen is you're going to do another one and probably do another funky video instead of doing flowers. Now you're going to have a funky video of your painting now.
Yeah.
You see?
So definitely this was awesome. Also, I wanted to say, I'm going to leave a link if you would like to get a t-shirt to keep our mission alive, which is getting other people to.
You see it on Nadine's chest. Keep creating.
Keep creating, because that's what it's all about. If there's anyone else that you know that would be interested into having these kinds of moments, definitely tell them about Let's Paint and Draw Along. Also, they can join. Generally, we've been really supporting people 45 and over for reasons other than the fact of wanting to return to creating. But
let's keep it real with them. We have to talk about your podcast on that point, Nadine, because that's how we got started. So the reason why we started with 45 and over, because we was really focusing on that community of retirees and people thinking it was over. That was Nadine's idea, because she's saying it's not over. I brought into the idea, and this is where we're at now. We're saying it's not over, but what we found out and saw was we have more people that's under 45 that really want to participate. That's in between 25 and 45. So that's why we say, if you're 25 to 45 and you want to just have an experience, cool, come over, listen to us, watch. You don't have to participate. We're not telling you you have to. We'll like it if you did, but anybody that's 45 and over, we definitely want you to be on screen or participating, because we really started off for you guys because it was a problem in being retired. So how do you take her and have other activities? Why not do art with Don and Nadine? Why not? And have fun and not have to worry about being over 50 and being miserable. You can look at it differently now and smile and laugh and say, you know what? It is okay to be over 50. Yes. It's cool. You see what I'm saying? So for you guys in between 25, 35, and 45, you come along, join the experience. That's why I say join the experience, because if you don't, it's okay. But when you hit 45, we definitely want to see you if we're still around.
Right. and mostly to know that when you reach 45 and over, that is not like this thing where you just preparing to retire. That is dead. And if you want to, really dive deep into stuff like that, there's the over 50 talk that Don has joined me on, and we have these deep dive conversations about Wednesday mornings. I had to push it off to Friday So Wednesdays, and if it doesn't happen, we'll do the re-recording on Friday.
On Friday, okay.
Okay. So the thing is some of this stuff we accept the programming of what's out there, of what we should be doing at different stages in our lives. And we're saying at 50, you might want to think about creating more, because that is the juice. That is the glue.
Just to let you know, everybody, Ray Della knows I got 90-year-old people that'll come check me out and paint with me, and they doing amazing work too as well. So that lets you know, if a 90-year-old person can get out of their bed, out of their house, take a train, bus, or car ride, get to a location and paint for 2 hours, why can't you?
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
And another thing is you young folks out there that are interested in joining and have joined us, the thing is we want to tell you is your parents, your grandparents, or other elders that are in your circle may just need something like this. So you could be the one to help be the bridge to have them rejoin this art experience. So
you can say this, Nadine, on that line that you said, you can just hold your shirt up and say, to keep your grandparents and parents, keep them creating.
It just makes a world of difference. That's beautiful love that you can give to your elders. Okay. So that's why we're here. We're really here to keep that energy flowing about creating, because art is everything and it is everywhere. And on that,
we're out of here.
We are out of here, everybody. Creating, clap it up. Yeah. All right.
Throw it up.
Throw it up.